It's a normal apartment. There's a kitchenette, a dining table, a small sitting area, and stairs. Probably a bedroom up there. Are you supposed to be here? Guess you are. Alright. Save the game. You can go up. Let's look around first. You pick up what appears to be a generic scrapbook, like those shelved to the back shelves of charity stores. Looking closely, you can still see remnants of price sticker glue. It feels normal, too normal. The book's clearly hiding some deep, dark secret. But the inner contents are equally normal. All you find are photographs of a woman who looks a lot like Dr. Danger, and a young boy with a crooked, toothy grin. The craftsmanship on display isn't anything remarkable, with poorly cut edges and tacky glitter glue smeared across the cheap cardstock. At least the pages seem to be in chronological order. In the earliest photos, the boy is bedridden. His skin is unnaturally pale, and his gaze unfocused, empty even. But as you flick through the pages, he grows stronger. His hair turns blonde, and there's crackling energy around him. He goes Super Saiyan. Now he gets out of bed. His eyes shine with inspiration and intelligence. He smiles. The woman in these photos must have been taking good care of him. The later photos are self-explanatory. Each moment is carefully dated and annotated. Playing video games, reading bedtime stories, what seems to be a movie night. You know the film they're watching. It's that one cartoon about an alien supervillain. One with a very big brain, but very little common sense. Hold on. Wasn't this film released 3 months after this photo was taken? Looks like Stop will have to add digital piracy to Dr. Danger's long list of crimes. You wouldn't download a card, would you? Which reminds me, actually. I've been watching anime, actually. My internet went out for like a day, which really sucked, but I had some anime on my hard drive, and I watched the new Higurashi, relatively new. The Higurashi no Nakokoro ni Go, I guess. And then recently Sotsu as well. It's a weird one though. It's kind of like it's advertised as like a remake, but also a like a reboot, but it's actually a sequel. It's like weird. It's just kind of weird. But I've been enjoying it so far anyway. I've heard some mixed reviews about it, but it's actually pretty good in my opinion. I don't know. No spoilers, I guess, but I think it does actually add something, to the series. I've always heard that apparently people didn't like it, but I don't know. Anyway, maybe I'll change my mind once I actually finish it, but so far, it's actually really good. Anyway, there's a small kitchenette. It looks like it hasn't been used recently. Did Dr. Danger take care of all the cooking? Okay. Handwritten note sits on the counter. Looks like a recipe for pancakes. Fridge seems well stocked too. Let's see if Cautionne likes your take on Dr. Danger's recipe. Right, so yeah, there's another puzzle, obviously. Let me see, what's this one? I'm assuming this one is a way out. The log for the door is a scrapbook. Its pages are empty, though. Some notes, I guess. Turn the pages. Okay. Oh, we don't have anything to put in, though. Anything else? Let's make sure I haven't missed anything before I go up. Oh yeah, Higurashi no Nakokoro ni Go. Yeah, I guess if you didn't know, it's based on... Well, it's not based on, but the original series, Higurashi no Nakokoro ni, it came out a while ago, actually. At least the anime, anyway. Obviously there's a visual novel as well, but I've just watched the anime. It's really good. It's one of my favorite animes, actually, of all time. At least the original, anyway. When you look at the bus in front of you, you recall a half-serious lesson on disguising yourself back when you were a trainee. From what you remember, this appears to be a mannequin for a wig, but Dr. Danger had a full head of hair. Did she need to disguise herself? Intel's always suggested that her mastery over tech kept her off any camera she cared about. You find an assortment of patterns, books, and materials for sewing. There's a little stack of half-finished items, a skirt and a blouse in conservative colors. Right next to it, a whole pile of hand-stitched garments in garish yellows, greens, and reds. Seems like someone handed their sewing books down to a more imaginative type. We're aware that sewing isn't just a simple hobby. Many of STOP's associate security forces take up the practice when their first cybernetics are implanted. After such a big operation, fine needlework quickly rehabilitates hand-eye coordination. But you doubt they make such a large collection of fuzzy mittens. Sewing. I'd rather play video games. Would video games help? After getting cybernetics? I don't know. Let's see. That's another puzzle, I guess. Anything else? There's a little panel there as well. Ouch! Seems like you stepped on a rogue sewing pin. It's a large unfinished sewing project doing all spread on the floor. Looks like a quilt. Must have been too big for the little sewing desk. For some reason you want to finish it. Through a puzzle, I guess. What's this? There are a few plushies sitting on the shelf. They're surprisingly soft. You investigate the cupboard below the plushies where, whoa! An avalanche of plushies spill out, burying you in a soft, fuzzy pile. This would be a comfy way to go out, but you should probably put everything back. Okay, so that's another puzzle. Very abstract. Here's I don't know. I'm assuming the game's pretty short, so it doesn't bother me all that much really, but it does really remind me of the Zero Escape games. So 999, Virtue's Last Reward, and what was the latest one? Zero Time Dilemma or something like that. That's like a series of games, based on the same universe basically. It's they're basically the same. They're within a trilogy basically, and they're called the Zero Escape games. I've been explaining that before, and it's very similar, right? It's very similar thing. It's there's a thing going on, you're stuck in a room, and you escape by doing puzzles. And my only complaint about that sort of thing, it feels a little I guess immersion breaking, right? So it's as imagine if this was a TV show, like a movie or an anime. It's and suddenly you need to escape by doing these abstract puzzles. It's it takes you out of it a little bit, of the story. I don't know. That's just my opinion, I guess. I think there was one manga that did kind of well. It was called Liar Game. It was kind of very similar, It wasn't always escape room puzzles, but it was kind of competitive, game or whatever. They play a game, and it's usually life or death and stuff like that, right? So at least in that sort of context, it's pretty interesting because it ties in the story, right? But this is you make pancakes based on what is this, stuff like that. It's just kind of weird, how it just takes you out of it, of the story, and suddenly you do a very specific puzzle. It's how do you say? It's gameplay, story, segregation, I guess. And a lot of video games do the same thing, not even the puzzles where you suddenly just doing something else entirely, has nothing to do with the story, But I don't know. I much prefer it when games, when you do a gameplay mechanic or something like that, it's actually very related to the story itself, where the gameplay itself actually communicates the themes of the narrative, or the I don't know what you call it, but the general vibe of the game itself. It's telling a story not just based on words, but also through the mechanics themselves. Things that are a little bit on the nose as well. But I is Phoenix Wright and Danganronpa. The literally mechanics of the game is actually based on what's happening in the story for the most part. But Danganronpa is a little bit on the minigame side, where you actually are sometimes just playing minigames as well. But I prefer those kind of puzzles, where it's especially in Phoenix Wright. I guess I'm going a bit of a tangent, but Phoenix Wright is definitely one of my favorite game series of all time. The main gimmick of that game is you're being a lawyer, and you're literally trying to find contradictions in the witness testimony and stuff like that, right? It sounds boring, but it's really fun, It's that in itself is kind of a puzzle, right? But it ties in with the story so well because you are playing as literally a lawyer, and that's exactly what you do, right? But anyway. So let's do this. So there's some kind of recipe. So these are the ingredients, I guess. Okay. So instructions are always begin cooking with what does that mean? Mise en place? Is that French? I don't know. Drag items on the board to arrange them. Look at the ingredients list to figure out how many of each item should be laid out on the counter. All items of the same type should be differently adjacent to each other. Items of different types should not touch directly but can touch diagonally. Drag unneeded items to the trash. Huh. Well, I mean, let's see what obviously, let's see what happens if I just submit it immediately. See what happens if we just die. There, that should be the right ingredients by doing nothing. Now, if you pour the batter, by pouring into nothing, I guess. Stop right there, lab rat. I don't want that affront to all things edible anywhere near my nice, tasteful kitchen appliances. How the hell do you screw up pancakes that badly? I don't know. I mean, it's like an abstract, like weird, like tile thing. It stopped mangle your common sense as well as your brains. You open your mouth to a protest and... Well, I'm assuming you get pancaked. Subject perished soon, but not soon enough, after being plastered against the wall by a gigantic frying pan-shaped mallet. Good riddance. Although I have to admit, I was looking for an opportunity to get use of that particular trap. Contributing factors: committed sacrilege against breakfast food. Flippin' miserable. I don't know, like, how does this work? Like, I'm just looking at 5 pieces of bacon, but like, I guess you go something like that, right? That's 5 pieces in a way. But how does it work? Like, what are the rules? So mise en place or whatever. I don't know if I want to say mise in place. What does that mean? Mise en place. It just means establishment. It means just well, it's a phrase actually. It means to put it in place or to gather. Apparently, it's to set up before cooking. Okay, so it's nothing. It's not too important. I thought it was like it was in bold, you know. So it's like I'm not sure. But that's like an actual rule that's in French that I don't understand. Meat on the bone, bone on the meat. Drag items on the board and rearrange them. So you go drag them out and put them on that. Look at how many you should figure out. And all items of the same type should be directly adjacent to each other. Items of different types should not touch directly, but can touch diagonally. So that's the biggest thing. If I put it, can I move the last piece out? Negative 3, negative 4. How does that work? Not sure how that works. But I guess it gets crossed out basically, right? And there are 5 directly. It just gets crossed out, so that's good. Okay, 8 eggs. That's seems important. I have a lot of eggs. And they should all touch adjacent. You know, they can't be like away from each other. They have to be touching. Yes. So no. Nuts, by the way. Wait, it's not the. I mean, it asks for nuts. I guess you have to use nuts. 3 cartons of milk. Can't really do that. Doesn't help me. Put it there. It's just like I'm moving the blueberry there, then there. It's like. I mean, maybe. Hold on. If I put this here, I would have to put this back. Will allow me to put that strawberry there. Put the blueberry there. And then put the blueberry there. Huh. Does that help? Let's see. So, again. So, all items of the same type must touch directly. So, I think they're all adjacent to one another. There's no diagonals of the same type. However, items of a different type must be diagonal. Checking, so everything's diagonal, right? There's nothing directly touching each other. If I'm not mistaken. So I think that's it. I got all the ingredients. Let's see here. And I'll submit. Ta-da! You solved the puzzle. Suddenly, the stove pops open. There's a photo inside it, with a text written on the back. I don't remember what the food was like at the orphanage. Probably bland. I wish I could forget what lab script tastes like, but meals were usually the least painful part of my day in the lab, so I've got a soft spot for the stuff. But that wasn't food. It was nutritious and edible and nothing more. It didn't fill you up. It wasn't warm. There wasn't any thought in it at all. Pancakes are food. They sizzle in the pan. Or pain? They sizzle in the pan. No, they sizzle in the pan and curl out the edges. They make little bubbles when they need flipping. You can either cook them or burn them, bury them in toppings, or eat them with your hands. They're filling, tasty, and also warm. I'm sure I could easily recreate a recipe. It's hardly rocket science, even the 1R. Yeah, that's what I've noticed. But I've never had someone cook for me before. I like to pretend I'm not capable for a little while longer. Alright, I'm assuming that is Cautionne, you know? But you know, lab script or whatever, I mean, I'm assuming it's like Soylent Green, you know? Actually, in real life, there is something like that. Soylent, it's just called Soylent, I think. I think it was banned in Canada for a while. That's where I live. But then it came back, I think. You know? Because it wasn't like considered meal replacement, so they needed to like change the recipe, I guess. But yeah, like Soylent, like it's kind of like a drink where it has all the, you know, the vitamins and nutrition that you need in like a little bottle, you know, you just drink it and that's your lunch or whatever, right? That's the idea anyway, though I've heard that it's not exactly the greatest for you because your body doesn't exactly absorb that kind of stuff the same way it does like solid food. But I have always wondered, you know, it would be kind of nice if you would just eat some kind of like superfood, you know, and you just, that's all you need, you know, no need, no like prep, no need to like take 10 minutes to eat something, just like, whoop, and then you're done, you know, it would save a lot of time, you know, it's like, yeah, I mean, I enjoy food and all that, but like, what if I didn't have to though, you know, it would save a lot of time. Anyway, so let's try to do this one, I guess. Instructions, what a mess. You need to clean up all these toys by sorting them into sets. A set is made up of 4 unique toys. You can reach toys by moving up, down, left, or right, but you can't move diagonally. Apply your moves carefully. As the toys shift, they may get harder to reach. Huh, interesting. So I don't know, is there a fail state for this one? I'm assuming every puzzle has a fail state, and that's how you get like a game over. I don't know. How does this even work? Alright, match? Okay, so it has to be 4 unique toys or whatever. I guess it continues as long as you're able to make movement, I guess? Okay, well then you lose. You set the toys and pause to think. The task is a lot harder than you thought it would be. Maybe... Having trouble organizing? I get it. I was horrible at putting my stuff away. A total mess every time. But whenever I got into a pickle, Dr. Danger always helped me out. Hey, remind me. Where is Dr. Danger right now? The sudden quietness in his voice makes you freeze. Right. Okay. The subject was transported to the automated disposal unit via trapdoor, whereupon the automated disposal department did what it does best. Contributing factors: expected leniency where there was none to be found. Then we get stuff. You turn into a toy. All right. I mean, this one's actually pretty tough as well. I don't like these type of puzzles where there's like a very specific optimized way to do something, and you have to do it in a very particular way. It's like, that's kind of hard. How do you know though? How do you know the correct way? Let's see here. I mean, I guess we have to make sure that the path we go through will always have a path we can go out, no matter what. If I go like that, and then this, get rid of an entire column, you know, and then like this. That if possible, and then I mean, this should be it, right? And then go like this. There you go. All right. I think the best way is to get rid of a column, because that you always get stuck, right? If you don't finish a column first. So I think just get rid of the entire column, and then the rest should be easy. Well, you solved the puzzle. One of the plushies rips open, revealing a photo inside. The back of the photo is black with words. She told me to explore the place. She said it was important that I adjust to my new environment, but she's been holed up in the lab. I don't know why she's so stressed about my surgeries. She's the smartest person I know. And I grew up surrounded by brilliant scientists. That's saying something. She says she's still concerned about making adjustments to my synthetic nerves. That she's worried she'll put me through even more pain. But every time she's worked on my new limbs, I haven't felt a thing. Last time I actually fell asleep. Alrighty. More like, yeah, backstory. Caution. I guess the next puzzle will be, this one, I guess. The quilt's unfinished and you need to make it complete. Each tile has 3 traits, color, shape, and fill. In order to finish the intended pattern, each adjacent tile must share exactly 2 out of the 3 traits within the next tile. Below, construct the next motif you want to place by adjusting the color, shape, and fill of the arrows. Huh. Okay. I mean, I guess it's just process of elimination, possibly. Well, anyway, what if we just submit it right away? Oop. Wow, you're far from delicate, aren't you? I like to think of myself as a lenient kind of guy. You're not lenient at all, actually. But watching you butcher that sentimental quote is pretty painful, like a death by 1,000 cuts, or needles, in this case. You hear a switch go off and then you get, poked a whole bunch. Subject failed to appreciate the value of good stitch work and so was impaled by 1,024 needles. It needed to be a square number for the triggering mechanism to hit its mark. Contributing factors couldn't sew their way out of a wet paper bag. Quote in action. Well, let's see. So, I mean, there's some things where it has to be, right? So, this and this, it has to be a certain way. So, it has to be, like, for example, I don't know, red, and has the same fill, I guess? I don't know, it's just red. 2 out of 3 traits, though. I don't know how that works. So, like, well, okay, let's see. It has to be that fill and then this shape, for example. So, like, has the same fill, has the same pattern, so it matches this. And for this one, it has the same shape and the same color. So that one, the ones where it's like clear, the in between, then it should be pretty easy. The hard part is like when there isn't actually, so you gotta figure out like exactly how that's gonna work. Same fill, same color, same shape, same color. Makes sense. So that's all. Okay, so it's really just the rest of these. That's the hard part, really. Let me save. This takes a while. I don't know I'm doing it right, because everything affects everything else. So I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's gonna be a situation where it gets soft locked. So, like, I guess we'll see. Same shape, same color, same fill, same color. Right? And now, one more thing I gotta do. Match these. Somehow. This is the most important step. I'm not sure how to do it. I guess, something like that? And then this. Maybe? Same color, same shape, same fill, same shape. So this seems correct to me. All right. So it's a lot of like trying to like match, all the traits to each other, especially in, no man's land, basically, when there's not a lot of predetermined tiles. You have to like think 5 steps ahead in order to make sure you match them properly. But I think this makes sense to me. So hopefully this is the solution, I think. Okay, there you go. You solved the puzzle. You notice you can now lift up the quilt. There's a photo underneath it. Something is written on the back. There's all this heat and smoke and energy. There are alarms blaring and people shouting. That's what she told me, but I barely remember any of it. Here's what I did remember. When we stopped running, she seemed more tired than I was. She did carry me the entire time, but she didn't seem any weaker than before. Her hold of my body didn't loosen. She was looking at what was left of my shoulder. I was hurting like you wouldn't believe, but I don't think I cared, because that day, I got to see the sky again. Alright. Okay. So I think that's it for those puzzles. I don't know if there's any other puzzles to do. Actually, I didn't look at these notes, actually. No, hold on. It's a loose page with handwriting on it. Judging by a number in the corner and the fading ink, it must be a small part of a much larger document. Entry set 1. It's nice to have job security right out of school. I had my doubts during junior year, of course, but I don't think anyone could have predicted how the sector has grown these past few months. The developments in cybernetic technology have been explosive, sometimes literally. It's troubling, but all great technology has potential for misuse. And now I'm going to be part of an organization that works to keep that tech under control. But I'll be honest, the name's pretty silly. Oh well, they could always change the acronym later. Is it like, stop, you know? Number 2. I thought that things were moving fast before, but the growth of we're seeing now makes those earlier years look glacial. Stop is doing good work that needs to get done. It's making countries put more money where their mouths are when it comes to international cooperation efforts. Last month, we managed to craft a digital data management system that tells us whenever a dangerous cybernetic schematic was downloaded, where it was downloaded to. This month, we finalized a report on maximizing cybernetic synchronization for patients, confirming my earlier theory that the younger, the better. The difference really was astounding. And I must admit, it felt good to shove that 19% performance increase right in that stuffy old bastard's smug face. Okay. Dr. Tan asked if the trend in performance would improve further if we start surgery any earlier. A weird question since this tech is only approved for anyone old enough to enlist, but I guess she was just being thorough. The theory is sound. I mean, it does remind me of the puzzle we did in the earlier room about how those kids, right? Those kids we connected to that blackboard and how young they were, right? So the younger the better. The promotion was nice. I deserve it, and it was the only obvious choice, but still, it felt nice to be recognized. Right, okay. Those seem to be possibly Dr. Danger notes, maybe? And how, like, Stop, the organization, was originally like a cybernetics company, but then they, I guess, started taking children and then, you know, experimenting on them so that wear cybernetics or whatever. Sounds great in theory, but like, you know, I imagine things go wrong, possibly. And maybe Dr. Danger wasn't the bad guy. Maybe we're the baddies. I don't know. Anyway, save the game. Alright. I think we did all the puzzles, as far as I know. What's this? Oh, another no, actually. I didn't see this one. Another month where the Security Advisory Council looked completely lost. It's like they don't know what to do with peacetime. They do amazing work, obviously. The world is secure. Cybernetic technology is finally getting regulated. The laws are catching up with the science. That's a good thing, even to make their job a little less exciting. Or maybe a little less secure. I requested another transfer. My third in 3 years, but they didn't seem to mind. I just can't find work as engrossing as I used to. Probably doesn't help that I'm not sure what it is I do anymore. I mean, logically, I know what to do. I research cybernetics. But I'm not sure what I do for Stop. Stop hasn't had a major security incident in months. The last incident they responded to was just a protest outside the building that got a little rowdy. Staff morale's been down ever since. A little controversy is to be expected given the power Stop has nowadays. They're being naive, they expect people to be grateful to the organization forever. I might have transferred a few times too many. I came into work today and clocked out without recognizing a single face the entire time. New people, places, committees, projects, and always more acronyms. And for the first time in years, I was denied access to internal data. I didn't think anything could be above my pay grade anymore. Note to self, look up YTDI. Whatever that means. Okay. I guess look at this. Number 4. I was very disappointed with the state of the Youth Training and Development Initiative. I guess that's what that stands for. That's how I put it in writing. I don't really have the right words to express my disgust with this program's existence. The idea that cybernetic sync rates increase the earlier in life treatment starts was based on a completely different timeline. I'm assuming that we were talking about 18 versus 24. It was never supposed to justify whatever the hell they're doing now. They don't actually care about reducing rejection symptoms or making the cybernetics work more seamlessly. They care about creating a product by experimenting on children. Children that no one else cares about. They want to produce cybernetic trainees that are more powerful, unthinking, and unflinchingly obedient to authority. Child soldiers. Stock plans to sell these trainees as a force to keep its donor on top. It just reminds me of Raiden, from Metal Gear Solid. It's literally his backstory. Spoilers, by the way. I got transferred to the YTDI as a supervisor. No one even seemed ashamed to give me full access. I get the sense that my superiors aren't paying attention to what is happening. That might be the most infuriating part of me. I don't care whether this program succeeds or fails. The implication I'm getting is that this is far from the only program of its kind. It might be the one of many, many more. And again, I'm assuming this person is Dr. Danger. Or whoever. I don't know what the real name was. I think it was mentioned actually, I just forgot. He smiled at me, even though everyone else he's seen here, everyone dressed like me, acting like me, working for the same people as me, has made him suffer. He smiled at me. With his crooked teeth, I'm imagining. I'm getting better at coming up with excuses to visit him, at least. I need to evaluate how he's coping with procedures, just like the other YTDI trainees. I might need to test his reflexes. Hell, he might need a snack to make him more cooperative. All my explanations are superficially believable at best. I'm no medical professional. I'm a supervisor. I oversee things. By all means, I should have been reprimanded for getting too involved, but no such warnings have come my way. I'm never going to be able to forget the look on his face when the convulsions started. He knew it was coming, and he knew there was nothing he could do to even brace himself for the pain. He's been through it countless times. I don't want to see it ever again. They claimed it was a clerical error that he didn't receive his anti-seizure medications that morning. I know there was actually punishment. He refused to obey during yesterday's mandatory exercises. You wouldn't treat an animal like this, much less another human. To them, he's less than that. I triggered the false alarm right on schedule, down to the second. My not-at-all false explosive follows suit. I'd always understood the chemical reaction was very simple to set up, but I still expected my first felony to present more challenges than this. Maybe I have a knack for this kind of thing. He didn't hesitate for 1 second when I asked him to come with me. As I rushed him to the fire exit, the look on his face at that moment has struck with me. Could anyone have looked more relieved? Maybe he should have hesitated. All that awaits him is a life in hiding. At least I'll have a choice from now on. Alright, well there you go. I'm assuming that's the story of these, domestic terrorists. Let's see, did I click on this? Actually, I didn't click on this. It's a crumpled, heavily worked over notebook filled with grandiose ramblings in third person. Lots of exclamation points in capital letters and ego massaging in spidery handwriting. But the more you flip back through the pages, the more the writing grows negative. Another neater set of handwriting appears, leaving words of encouragement. Even further back, the spidery handwriting disappears. The neater handwriting takes over, marking the wrinkled paper with crisp grids and clear lessons. Shaky, barely legible scribbles sit below, rounding out vague letters-like shapes. It almost looks like a therapeutic exercise, or a homework assignment. Maybe it's both. But it's obvious that the notebook's author hasn't used it for a long, long time. Personally, you wouldn't be caught using the third person. You prefer the second person, Yeah, you only use the second person. And even then, only for gathering your thoughts in high-stakes scenarios. I guess that's the explanation of why we're narrating in second person. Only second person. Not third person, and especially not first person. Only second person, apparently. Alright. Anything else? There's that notebook we saw before. Let's double check one more time in here. I don't think there's anything else. Like this again, but wig mannequin. Alright. Okay. I mean, yeah, let's check out this lock. Or I guess puzzle rather, but I guess from here we gotta put the photos in the correct order, maybe? There's that. This. So these are based on the puzzles, I guess. Yeah. There's also this one. I actually didn't look at this one, actually, but this is, I guess, just a photo that we already have before we did the puzzles, but let's see. I like to watch her work. It's normally very calming, but when she's making something explosive, it's really, really exciting. The other day, I noticed that she'd forgotten her flash welder. I brought it over to her, saying that I wanted to test out the grip strength of my new arm. She saw through my excuse, but she let me help anyway. I even made a few suggestions of my own, and guess what? Guess what? She ended up using every single idea. She said it was impressive how quickly I picked up on what her design needed. She smiled at me with such pride, but at the same time, there was this sad look in her eyes. I've noticed she's sad a lot. I want to do something to change that. By committing domestic terrorism. No, I don't know, I guess... I don't know what the correct order is. You know, actually, what happens if I do it wrong, actually? Let me save first, though. But yeah, I'm assuming you're supposed to put it in the right order, in chronological order. What happens if I just submit it, just, you know, as it is? You place the scrapbook down to get a fresh look at what you got so far, but when you step back, you feel like something's out of place. And if you can tell, then he can tell. Better... It's okay to suck at arts and crafts, lab rat. Not everyone's born to make masterpieces. But that scrapbook meant a lot to me. If you're gonna screw up that badly, could at least use the non-permanent glue. A bead of sweat trickles down your back. Was that an option? Wait, I left that out, didn't I? My bad. If memory serves, this button should. Whoopsie doozy, looks like I pressed the wrong... Oh. Subject succeeded in proving the fatality of ray gun prototype Delta 9. Contributing factors, they messed up my scrapbook, so now we're even. Holy scrap. Make all the mistakes. Yeah, I'm assuming I feel like I've gotten every game over, is the thing. Alright. So let's do this properly. I'm assuming it's this, and then, like, okay, so what happens is, like, Dr. Danger was working for Stop. Turns out they're doing unethical things, so, like, they try to escape with a particular, I guess, orphan that they got attached to, or she got attached to, which is, you know, the person who's been tormenting us the entire time, by the way, in the present times. But yeah, but they escaped. And this is the photo, I guess. How do they take a photo of that, by the way? It's like, you know, maybe it's like iPhoto? No. I'm assuming this is about, like, them exploring. I don't know, actually. They told me to explore the place to adjust my new environment. So I'm assuming it's this next, right? So this one next, and then pancakes, and then this one, because this one seems to be about, like, making a new explosive order. And they already have their, I'm assuming, wig, actually. Like, he already has his wig, you know, I guess. It's freaking Hatsune Miku wig, almost. Because I guess they've been doing so much experiments, you know. I'm assuming on the brain, by the way. You know, this is sci-fi, obviously, so I guess they, you know, do brain surgeries, and he has lost most of the hair, so that's why they have a wig. He has a wig? I don't know. I'm not sure. Hopefully this is the correct way. I don't know. If not this, then I guess swap the, you know, the photos. But anyway. Okay, it's not this one. Yeah. I mean, I guess we're just brute forcing it. I'm not sure. I don't know how you're supposed to tell exactly. I guess pancakes first. Pancakes first, then surgery, then bomb. Okay. I don't know. I wasn't sure. You know, it's like, because you see the bandage over the eye. So I'm not sure that's before or after, you know. Because, you know, when you finish your surgery, maybe you still have bandages on your eyes. Huh? No, the screen behind you didn't turn on. Guess Cautionne really was serious about the whole silent treatment thing. The way should be clear now. You can look around a little while longer, but chances are high you won't find whatever else you'll find. Or you won't like whatever else you'll find. Better keep moving. Well, looks like there's no screens in this corridor. You don't think you'll see any of Dr. Danger either. There isn't really much else to say about this hall. If that's the case, then this is probably close to the exit. Can't say you miss his nasally jabbering, and yet you take it over that strange, baleful unease that hums at the back of your mind. Like the silent air conditioner in your boss's office. It's not about your job. You did what you're supposed to. No, rather, you're bothered about the evidence itself. But why? All you remember are torture instruments and strange hobbies. Nothing out of ordinary for a villain. You know, it's typical villain things. Maybe you'll chew it on another day. For now, though, your priority is getting out of here. There's the exit right up ahead. It's in the middle of the big garage-like space, one filled with boxes of all shapes and sizes. Maybe it's for storing tools or materials. You don't really want to find out. Like the hallway before it, this room's completely unremarkable. And besides, you've had enough exploring. All that said, you weren't expecting your escape to be so straightforward. The exit's wide open. If you walk through right now, you'll... Crap. You jinx yourself. Hello? Who's there?
So, you finally made it. Did you like my games, lab rat?
I mean, they're pretty hard puzzles, and you literally kill me if I do it wrong, so... I don't know if I liked it. What, you have a gun? How do I solve the puzzle of gun? You know, what's this puzzle, you know? A gun? Why does he have a gun? Freaking revolver. Someone his age shouldn't... no, it's a fake, isn't it? I mean, it depends on where we live. Do we live in America? If we live in America, then that's actually pretty easy to get a gun. Okay, no, it's a fake? Of course, it's just a practical joke. It's just a joke. I'm glad you're having fun and all, but I really should get going. See, adults have these things called jobs and... Want a shot? Oh. It just hit your knee. Oh, I mean, that's probably incredibly painful. Ah! 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 Shit. Shit. You can't believe you made such a rookie mistake. And you can't... You can't stand anymore. What are you gonna do? How are you gonna get out of here now? You see, I use my puzzle-solving skills to... Patronize me at your own risk, is what I should have said before firing, but I'm still new to this. Kinda like you and your job, lab rat. That's why you don't scare me. You're just a low-level nobody living a hand-to-mouth life. That's why you did this mission, right? Because you wanted a sweet, fat paycheck? I mean, we all need money, you know? You want to say something, but you're shaking, sweating, everywhere. All you can do is open your eyes. Struggling just to open your mouth. That owed you plenty of pity points. You weren't so gross about it. You never experienced this much pain before, have you? In fact, it seems you haven't experienced much of anything. If I let you go, would your bosses even care? After all, you're not much of an investigator. So but I save you all the exit interviews and put things to an end here. No. You can still get up. If you crawl all the way back, they'll definitely forgive you.
I'll admit, I'm curious. When you're gone, will Stop eulogize you? Or will they just write you off as another wasted asset? I'm undecided. But I wouldn't be much of a scientist if I didn't test my hypotheses.
Well, that's a pretty evil thing to do. You know, it's like friggin' flamboyant like supervillain, and we're like, hey, I'm so wacky, let's do some puzzles, and they just freaking shoots you in the face. What? I mean, it makes sense, you know, like anytime you fail those puzzles, it's kind of like obvious that you freaking die. in horrible ways. So like, it's not a mystery that they are, pretty evil. It's just kind of funny how like they have such a vendetta against you in particular. This self-insert, like nameless player protagonist. What do we do? What do we even do? I don't know. But there you go. I mean, that seems to be like NPC casing. I guess that's special thing. I mean, I recognize that developer. Anyway, I guess, yeah, I mean, that seems to be like the worst ending. How did I get the worst ending? There are multiple endings, apparently, to this game. That seems to be like the worst one. You just get freaking shot to death. I'm assuming, anyway. But, well, let's see if we can get a different outcome, maybe? There it is. There's the exit. And the path is clear. No guards, no traps, just a big garage, littered with cardboard boxes. Hopefully there's no one hiding under those boxes. You're expecting your escape to be so simple. You spoke too soon. Identify yourself.
How many guesses will you need this time?
No more TV screens, huh? Don't need them. Not if I'm going to finish what Dr. Danger started. Using that? Kid, you shouldn't be wielding...
Shut up.
Shut up and let me talk, lab rat. I didn't actually think you'd make it this far, but alas, your puzzle-solving skills were decent. In another life, you make quite the sidekick. Or maybe you freed me. Hell no. You're dangerous, lab rat, and I just can't let you go. The brat's got bravado, you'll give him that. He's keeping that revolver remarkably steady, even though he's shaking all over. But he's still just a kid. Might never even wielded a weapon before for all his big talk. On the other hand, you're a stop agent. You can draw and fire a gun faster than someone can say knife. It's the first thing they teach you as a trainee. He's scared, but he's not going to hesitate any longer. You excel. Before his fingers shake itself over the trigger, you raise your gun towards his torso. You have expected that for you to go down cackling, like a scene out of a superhero movie. A villain shrieking with laughter, even as they're plugged with thousands of rounds. But Cautious final moments are surprisingly quiet. He stutters at a pained gasp. He reaches forward. He struggles to grab something you can't see. And he falls. His gun clatters on the floor. He doesn't move again. I'm just quicker in the draw. I guess I was a cowboy, in a previous life. As you walk from the garage, you do your best to ignore his lifeless body. From the corner of your eye, you watch his blood ooze on the floor. Once a better agent comes here to gather evidence, they'll clean the stains and burn the corpse. The sight of blood at the edge of your vision fills you with exhaustion. You just want to get out of here and let someone higher up sort this shit out. As you leave, you can't help but think to yourself, that was easy. Easier than it should have been, maybe. Or maybe not. But one thing's for sure. There's one less villain out there now. One less threat. One less thorn in Stops' side. When you go write up your report, that's all you'll be able to say. Mission accomplished. I mean, good riddance, like all I'm saying is in at least 10 other parallel universes, probably more than that, he's killed me, actually, in many brutal ways. He even starved me to death, The horrible way to go, so like, it's self-defense, okay? It's like, it's already self-defense in the scene because he was pointing a gun at me. That's that's understandable, I feel like. But also, it's kind of like self-defense in a, multi-universe sort of way, But there you go. I guess that's that ending. Oh, there you go. It says here. Mission accomplished. End. Oh, there's this. Oh, wait, I didn't see this. Oh, there you go. I guess I missed looking at this thing. let's see. Entry set number 6. I have no right to call myself a parent, but even so, parenthood is hard. His rehab is going as well as it can be expected, but this is no way to raise a child. I can educate him, keep him fed, and care for him, but I can't give him any kind of a future. Not while Stop is trying to erase our very existence. I've managed to section away enough resources to last us a while all my internal records within Stop were destroyed by the fire. They still know I'm out there, but now I have no proof that I was ever as big a part of them as they say, or as I say. It's my word against theirs, and they have a far larger, more powerful allies. Bombs, sabotage, and cryptic messages on shady websites get much better traction than just sending my research notes to major news outlets. No one cares about Deirdre Destrange. No one cares what Deirdre Destrange has to say, but when Dr. Danger blows up energy pipeline, people look up from their food and watch. He chose the name. It's got a nice old school appeal to it, just some terrorism. Just a little bit of terrorism. So. Cautionne has always been eager to please and happy to spend time with me. Is it any wonder he wants to help the nefarious Dr. Danger in her fight? I should tell him no. Revenge is poison, he's already been through too much. But I still can't bear to calculate how much of his suffering is my fault. I don't have the heart to tell him no, and I sooner die than judge him for how much he hates Stop. Dr. Danger, Cautionne are becoming a household name, but that's about it. Stop is still in power. People are still too scared to take them to task, and there's still YTDI centers all over the world. If I destroy one, they move the children to another. That's horrible as is, but what if they don't care enough to do even that? What if they believe the YTDI is just not worth the cost? What will happen to those children then? Something needs to change, but I'm not sure it's something that Dr. Danger can do. I'm not sure that Deirdre Destrange is enough for him. Okay, interesting. I think that's a note that I missed the first time, actually. I didn't see that one. Okay, so I might be missing... Let's see. Oh, okay. There are some things I was missing. Alright. I just couldn't see it. What the heck? So there was something. Okay, so the little like entry sets don't count, actually. So that's a little misleading. It's funny how you read the sob story of the journal entries and whatnot, but that doesn't lead you to a better ending. It's because you missed this. That's cheating, I feel like, because it's at the edge of the window. I don't want to click on the edge of the window because it might resize the resolution. It might mess up the game capture. Anyway. Alright. Let's see. So I didn't interact with this, basically. Okay. Well, this appears to be a lockbox, but it's well unlocked. You give it a small tug and it opens. There's no dust inside, but a stale odor wafts out. Clearly, this hasn't been opened for a long time. You find a lab coat of an ID pinned above its breast pocket. There's no photo, but the name Deirdre Destrange is clearly printed on a plastic card, alongside a worn barcode. The code itself is high quality, but it's worn around the edges. Deirdre must have used it for a long time, taking good care of it all the while. I'm gonna pronounce it. Deirdre? You see framed photos, diplomas, certificates, and awards, all of them belonging to Deirdre Destrange. In and of itself, a doctorate in cybernetic biology is impressive, but Destrange received this years ago. To be that experienced at a young age, and when the science was still so new, she must have been on the cutting edge of the field. At the bottom of the pile, you find a dented or dusty medal, an award for continued service to the international security community. The medal's name has been violently scratched out, and yet you think you see the remnants of a familiar logo. Apparently there's an easy-to-miss clipboard here somewhere. I don't see it. Oh my god, it's right. What is this? That's so hard to notice. It's a pixel. Look at this. It's a pixel. I mean, a lot of things are on the shelf, right, and everything, right? You look over, we check all of them. Like, what makes it so, I don't know what the word is, but, I don't know what the word is. But what makes it, so, like, uniquely frustrating, I guess, is that it's so hard to click on, right? It's so small. Anyway. Alright, so, yeah. So there's another object that I missed. It's this little thing. It's very small. It's hard to click on. It's so easily missable. What the heck? Anyway, you pick up a cupboard, or you pick up a clipboard with a thick stack of charts and diagrams and pinned to the front. Subject recuperation log is printed at the top in harsh black lettering. At the bottom of the page, you spot an acronym, YTDI. You flip to the log. The recuperation described here is difficult to read. Seizures, phantom pain, memory loss, and brain damage are all expected results, not side effects. Scrawled notes speculate that these symptoms could last for several years or decades, perhaps even permanently. Implanting cybernetics in individuals under 18 isn't illegal, but it is frowned upon. And from the logbook, a lot of children were implanted, children well under the age of 18. There's nothing here about informed consent or parental permissions. Evidently, parents weren't involved. There you go. So yeah, I missed two objects. There's one like underneath the sofa, is right on the edge of the screen, which is hard to see, and this one is like 1 pixel. You know, I didn't know you click on that. You know, what even is that? In a large garage filled to the brim with cardboard boxes, the exit waits for you, wide open. It's night already. Outside, you hear the quiet rushing of a river. Just a few more steps, and you're out of here. Even more, and you'll be on the bus back home. It took a couple of hours to get back to HQ. You'll nap on the ride, probably, so that by the time you get to your stop, you'll have enough energy to run up thousands of narrow stairs. And you'll reach your boss's office, and, well, what'll happen next? You'll definitely get that bonus. If this isn't going up above and beyond, maybe you'll get a promotion, a better salary, better benefits, a better home, a better life. Something you've always wanted. And maybe that'll help you sort out the pit that's growing in your stomach. Not now, kid. The last thing you need is him showing up.
I see my escape rooms have worked their magic. I didn't think it was possible, but you're feeling guilty, aren't you?
How do you know that? You have a freaking like cybernetic brain thing, eye thing that can see people's emotions? Because that was a thing, I think, in Deus Ex or something. I remember I played Deus Ex Human Revolution. There's like a cybernetic you can get. Anyway, guilt? Is that what it is? Or something you didn't do? All those years, you must have been so proud to wear that uniform. To be a brave soldier fighting for such a pristine, justice-seeking organization like that. You feel sick. But it's not enough for you to feel bad. Because if I let you go home and get your bonuses and sleep in your nice bed, you'll be stumbling over yourself to forget everything that happened here as fast as possible. You or your boss or the next agent. You'll storm in here and sweep away everything me and Dr. Danger fought for. Someone better catch me and destroy this place. And stop or turn me into a nameless drone like I was supposed to be. He's shaking. He's trying to put on a brave face, but he's shaking.
But I don't want that, you know? I don't want to forget my home, my books, my bugs, my bed.
Wait, your bugs? What do you mean your bugs? As in insects, or?
And I don't want to forget myself. I don't want to forget about collecting stickers, or eating pudding, or sewing my first pair of mittens. And I don't want to forget Dr. Danger! She saved me! She raised me! She stood up for me when no one else did! And what did Stomp do? They made her a villain! They took everything away from her! They killed her!
I mean, she did bomb a lot of places, so... to be fair. So what are you gonna do now, lab rat? You still got your weapon, don't you? Come on, hit me with your best shot. Hit me, because if you don't, I'll... You can't deal with this anymore. You don't want to fight him. You're not gonna use your gun? Huh.
Then, on behalf of Stop, die.
The bullet... It only grazed your cheek. Huh? Cautionne fell. What's going...
I missed. I had the muzzle aimed at your head. The bullets loaded.
Well, that's the thing. You don't aim for the head. You gotta aim center mass. You know, it's not like it is in Counter-Strike, you know, in video games. Usually you need to aim like around the middle.
First try.
Caution's gaze is vacant. It's the same gaze as that boy in the scrapbook. That alone makes a pin in your stomach sink even deeper. So to fill it, you say something really, really stupid. You know, you could have fired again. Yeah, I mean, that's what I was thinking. You have more than one bullet, right? I'm at a contact shot distance.
No, I couldn't have. Trying to kill you was a lot more tiring than I thought it would be.
Tiring.
Go.
Ah.
This is what you wanted, right? The exit's right there. Go back to your home. Your TV. Your money. I was fooling myself, thinking I could do what Dr. Danger did for me. So go. I hope the guilt eats at you for the rest of your fucking life.
I mean, the salary helps. No, slowly you make your way towards the exit. When you finally make it outside, you turn back. The boy is still sitting there, legs splayed haphazardly, arms floppy, still staring at you. You stare back at him, get him a curt nod. He doesn't react. So without another word, you turn back and see him forcing to attempt a villainous grin.
If you really feel that bad about it, I did sneak copies of everything you've seen here onto your device. I found your address while you were looking around.
He docks me, what the heck?
Pretty devious idea, right? Downright heinous.
He takes a deep breath, then exhales.
Right? Here's another world-class criminal scheme for you. Stop Agent Stake's reputation, credentials, leaks internal docs to all four corners of the net. Not a bad headline. Could make for a half-decent start to a villainous career. Your choice, obviously. But I know what I'm talking about. After all, I am a supervillain.
Okay. I think that's the ending. Alright. I mean, that seems to imply that we betrayed the organization, you know? We become a double agent or something. There you go. I mean, it's supposed to end on like a sympathetic note, but I'm gonna be honest, I still don't forgive him for like killing me in every other parallel universe, you know? In again, incredibly brutal ways, by the way. It's like unless they're lying about it. I don't know if they were lying about how like the way we die and everything, but I feel like it's pretty gruesome the way we die. With no remorse. And there's that one time where he just shot us. So like, I don't know. It's supposed to be like this, oh, he's just an innocent little boy, whatever, you know, in over his head. He's too innocent to kill someone. And then it's funny how that is. It's supposed to be like that, I feel like, in this ending, but not so much in all the other ones. Except maybe the one where we kill him, but you know. Anyway. Yeah. Breakout row. Also unlock a special extra screen. I guess I'll take a quick look at that. I'm actually quite tired, actually, from doing all those puzzles. My brain... all my brain juice is leaked out, so... I don't know, extras? Oh, there you go. I guess not much. Achievements, I guess. I swear I got all of these though. You know, I feel like it says all locked here, for example, but yeah, I got that. You know, I don't know. I guess it just didn't update. Got all dead ends though. That's what I always strive for. And developer notes. Okay, that's a lot of text. Well, not to be rude, but it's just a lot of stuff. So I'll just read the main developer's notes. There's so much I want to say about the project. Can't muster right now. Thank you for letting me direct. I need a corn dog. First work as a director of a visual novel. Okay, so I imagine, yeah, it's a team of people that made this. Working in a team. Found in love and new directing things. Cautionne, Dr. Danger's story. For now, ciao. Alright, there you go. And, the other people. And the other, and everyone else. No, I mean, I don't know, I just don't want to read all of this, but this is just a quick skim, I guess. There you go. But yeah. I guess that's it for malViolence. I got all the endings, I think. So, there you go. I mean, just quick, slow wrap up. Again, man, the puzzles took a lot out of me. But I just want to say, yeah, overall, pretty good. I mean, everything's definitely, just professionally designed in terms of like art and visuals and UI. The puzzles definitely were challenging. I'm not really good at puzzles. I guess, I just wonder how hard it really was in the original version of this game. I've heard like it was really, really, really hard. That's why I didn't play it until now. So, as I mentioned before. So yeah, I mean, I do wonder how hard it is, because the puzzles as it is, I think they're pretty balanced for the most part. I don't think I ever. It took a while to get through them. A lot of them are a little monotonous. It requires a lot of deduction, more so than anything else. But yeah, I mean, I like them. I like the one of the blackboard, where you're like connecting the dots and everything. That was pretty good, actually. I like that one. It really did feel like you're an actual detective, and also it does actually reveal something. So some of the puzzles do. I mean, a lot of them are kind of abstract, to be honest, but some of them do connect to the story. Part of the reason why I like the figure out the objects, the toys and the kids and where they grew up and stuff like that. That one was interesting because it does directly tie into the main plot, which is the backstory, which is this organization that created cybernetics, is now controls the world, I guess, and Dr. Danger and Cautionne, they are villains because, they're the ones going against this organization in the first place. Makes me wonder how much it justifies their actions, though. How much are people they hurt? I don't imagine bombs, to be all that safe, right? It causes a lot of damage, I feel like. So you do wonder how much that justifies their actions. I don't know. Like, the only unethical thing they did, I guess, was, experimenting on children, making child soldiers. I mean, I feel like that's a thing in right now. But anyway, but yeah, that's the main thing that they kind of did. That was like abhorrent. But again, does that justify blowing up facilities, and stuff like that? I don't know. I'm assuming we're just assuming that Dr. Danger didn't they specifically made it so they didn't hurt anyone, but I mean, the game doesn't really explain that, I guess. We're just assuming that she, didn't specifically hurt anyone with her bombs, but even then, destroying property, it's not exactly a legal thing. Obviously, not exactly legal. So I don't know. Anyway, but yeah. What was I saying? Oh yeah. Puzzles overall pretty good, challenging, and I at least for medium difficulty anyway. By default, I guess it was just on medium difficulty. I think it's pretty balanced, overall. I never felt the need to really look up like a guide or anything, and then got really stuck on something that's really like ambiguous. The only thing maybe was the one where you gotta like make a loop, I guess. The little like lines that was a little bit ambiguous. The thing I was kind of stuck on was whether or not you're supposed to actually use all the connections or like a 4-way intersection. That one took a while to really understand. But anyway, yeah, overall though, I think it's pretty good. I just definitely really reminiscent of the Zero Escape games. VLR in particular, I guess the 3D ones basically, VLR and like a Zero Time Dilemma, the second and third game of that trilogy in particular. Though actually I prefer 999 to be honest. I like the 2D style more, but this game has more like a 3D. It's not really 3D, it's like pre-generated 3D really, It's kind of like back in the old days, on the PlayStation or whatever, where they made like pre-generated, 3D environments and not actually 3D, but but kind of reminiscent of that, I guess. I feel like, and a little bit of Danganronpa, I guess, only because of the personality, of the main antagonist, being all like, ooh, it's like being all like, I don't know, I mean flamboyant, I guess. Well, I don't know what the word is, but like, silly, I guess, silly, cartoony, I guess, cartoonishly, villainous and everything. So kind of reminds me of the Danganronpa kind of style as well because of that a little bit. Not exactly the same, themes and plot or anything, but it just reminds me of that. I mean, it makes sense because those kind of Zero Escape and Danganronpa is kind of like, I think they're made by the same publisher. I think, I'm not sure. I forget the connection, but I think there's some staff that worked on both. I think I can't remember. But anyway, and I like those games. So the Zero Escape games I definitely like less, however, because of the puzzles. But I think because of this game, it's pretty short overall. I think the puzzles themselves didn't overstay its welcome. So overall, I didn't mind it too much. It's only when you have to do so many puzzles, like for such a long game, that I tend to get tired of it. Kind of like Professor Layton. You're just doing puzzle after puzzle after puzzle after puzzle. It's kind of like that's basically what the game is. But it gets a little tiring for me anyway. But yeah. Anything else? I mean, yeah. The world's kind of interesting as well. The tone is kind of weird to me, though, to be honest. Again, like as I mentioned before, how like you're supposed to be sympathetic to the villain and everything, but at the same time they murder you. So like I don't know, like how sympathetic can you be to a person that like literally like I don't know, smashes you with a giant mallet into a fine paste. It's like, it's like I don't know. But anyway, I like the design though. They do look interesting. The characters. Yeah. Interesting decision that they made the narrator to be second person. I don't know if there was any reason for that, to be honest. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's just second person. I mean, I guess some games do that, I guess. I feel like old school games kind of do that. Like dungeon crawlers, like really old dungeon crawlers kind of do that. They do like the whole second person thing. I don't know. I feel like a lot of modern games don't do that anymore. I feel like, I don't know. It's just kind of like strange, to be honest, that they're using second person. It's usually first person, really. If you're gonna do like a self-insert POV kind of thing, where like we don't really see the main character anyway, like the protagonist, is usually like first person. But I don't know. Anyway, yeah. Anything else? Music is fine. Is good too. Was it the name? I'm assuming, yeah. Yeah, someone actually did make the music for this game in particular. So I like the music, actually. It's pretty good. It fits, actually. It fits pretty well. Again, because of, it reminds me of Zero Escape, so that's why. I mean, anything else? Yeah, I mean, yeah, writing is fine as well. I feel like it definitely is more focused on the puzzles rather than like the narrative in particular, but whatever's there is good. Dialogue's good. I mean, the only thing it might be my own problem is because of text speed, most like I must have changed the text speed too fast or something. I forget what the default is anymore, so I don't know what you're supposed to put it as. But the voice acting, sometimes with like voice acting and the text scrolls like automatically, or like it changes to the next line automatically. It doesn't match, or like, it goes too fast. I think it's because I think it's me. It's a me issue where like I accidentally changed the text, because normally I actually want it to be a little faster because I usually read everything, so I rather it just like kind of like the text go a little bit faster, so I know what I'm reading before I, read it aloud. So that's probably my fault, that I did that. So that's the only issue that I saw. But again, it's because of me. Other than that, I mean, getting the final ending was pretty difficult as well, though. I wish it was slightly more. At least there's like 2 objects in the final room you're supposed to interact with in order to unlock the final ending, and I don't know, they're way too hidden, in my opinion. But oh well, that's just how it is, I guess. Yeah, I mean, not a lot. I don't know, not really many criticisms for this game. I mean, just overall solid game, actually. Yeah, it's a good game. I don't know. Yeah, my only subjective, I don't know what the word is, but my only subjective, like what left me wanting a little bit was, I guess, the dead ends. I kind of wish there was a little bit more exploration of like certain like game overs. They were pretty gruesome, but they only are described, and I actually kind of want to see it. I don't know, maybe I'm maybe I'm just edgy, but like I actually do want to see like the kind of like the gory stuff a little bit, just a little bit. It doesn't have to be like a full on like you see everything, like the whole corpse, like being destroyed by giant mallet stuff and like starving to death, but just a little bit, just an extra little scene, maybe, instead of just like sudden death and then game over, right? And just a little report that describes what happened. I actually kind of want to see a bit of the, I don't know, the aftermath. It would kind of like, I mean, it would kind of, I don't know. I mean, I feel like it already does muddle the message a little bit of like forgiving the main villain and all that, but like I do feel like it would kind of fit if you want to make the villain a little bit more villainous, right? Actually, like a real villain, like an actual like a horrible person, It's like I already feel that way though, so it's like I don't know. Might as well go all the way instead of like weirdly like muddling the message, where it's kind of like they're bad, but then they're also sympathetic a little bit because they were an orphan and they were being experimented on, but they also like have no remorse for like murdering you. So it's like I don't know, it's weird. Like I don't know how to think about that. I don't know. In my opinion, I feel like it'd be better to just make him like kind of like irredeemable. Just make him like just not sympathetic at all. Like I don't need a Freudian excuse. I just want them to be like a full villain, and then maybe I would enjoy them more. I don't know. It depends, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, that's just my opinion. Anyway, I don't know. That's exactly what everyone wants, but I prefer, like when I think about like full on like villainous characters that are more interesting to me are definitely the ones that are just like just full villain. No need to be all that sympathetic. I mean, they can be a little bit sympathetic, but it doesn't justify their actions. They're still evil. They're still like an antagonist. They're still like a bad guy. And in a way, in this universe, there is no good guy. It seems like the organization we work for are like bad, and like the villains are kind of bad too. So like nobody's actually a good guy. It seems like, and I don't know. I mean, I feel like that it can be more interesting that way, but I don't know. Anyway, whatever. I'm just rambling at this point. But yeah, there you go. I think that's it for malViolence. Pretty good game. Pretty good like puzzle, visual novel with interesting main villain, I guess. Main supervillain? It's technically a supervillain, right? But like, I don't know. When I think of supervillain, I think of superpowers. They don't look like they have superpowers. It seems like they just have the power of just being, I don't know, a scientist and whatnot, and just being smart, I guess, or at least like an inventor, mad scientist kind of way. But yeah, they're more like just a typical mad scientist rather than the supervillain. I don't know. And they also have the power of gun, but I don't like. I feel like that doesn't count. Anyway, but there you go. So if you see more, don't forget to click that subscribe button. You can also check out my other playthroughs on the channel if you would like. And if you didn't know, I also stream these games live, so you can change the notification settings from personalized to all if we get notified when I go live. Thanks for watching. Until next time, see you then.